Hey everybody, Matthew Hollis here with 365 Films. Basically what I do is I watch and review a film a day for 365 days. So today is day 34 of my 365 day journey. I started on January 1st, and the film that I'm reviewing today is The Raid Redemption. So The Raid Redemption is a really interesting film. It was done in Indonesia, so it's all in subtitles. And what this film is about is a SWAT team going up into this building and trying to take out the mob boss. Now, the mob boss owns this whole entire building, and the whole entire film, you guys, is just non-stop action for an hour and about 47 minutes. It's crazy. And don't go into this film kind of expecting great dialogue or a great story, because that's not really what this film is about. It's more towards the kind of like John Wick. There's a film, John Wick, a year or two ago, and John Wick was a film that was more about action as well, and this film is just non-stop action. But the difference between this film and a lot of other action films is this film just blows all those other films out of the water, you guys. Every single thing in this film, since it is Indonesian, they use a specific martial art in this film. I'm not quite sure exactly what it's called. I don't want to butcher it, but they use a martial art in this film that's very flashy. And all of what I really, really loved about The Raid Redemption is the fact that they had incredible choreography. I mean, I feel like most movies nowadays, and I've said this before in my earlier reviews, is even the Marvel movies do this, but when someone fights in a film nowadays, it's like punch, cut to another person punching, cut to another person punching. Nobody really uses back-to-back choreography anymore like they did in The Matrix. And John Wick was a film that did that not too long ago and did that really, really well. And it's just like, I love when movies go out of their way to show not only, I mean, it doesn't have to be realistic, but just show great choreography. I mean, this film does that perfectly. Every single fight scene is pretty damn incredible. I mean, I was like, there were certain scenes in the movie where I was kind of on the edge of my seat just because of the level of amount of action that was going on. And it wasn't like explosions or anything like that. It was just watching really great choreography and watching really great stunt people get together and have these, 5 to 6 second fight scenes without a cut in them, and watching somebody, punch, kick, and like the amount of knife stuff that happened in this film, I mean, was unbelievable. The amount of like knife moves and stuff were going on, and obviously there's guns in the film and stuff as well because it is a SWAT team, but basically things just start going really, really bad for this SWAT team. And it becomes a situation where instead of them going in there to take out this mob boss and bring him to jail, the exact opposite happens, where they get high enough into this large tower where they actually have to like fight to survive and get out of the tower because things just get way out of control. Now, this film does have kind of a small budget. It was an independent film in Indonesia, and it was actually directed by a American director, or maybe he's Canadian, but he's not from Indonesia, and he doesn't know the martial art that is used in this film. And so that kind of shows how like you don't have to be an expert at martial arts or something to do an incredible martial arts film. You just have to care enough about it. And you can tell in this film that the whole entire crew, the whole entire cast and the director, they all cared. And the fact that this film has a sequel, which I want to watch tomorrow, like I plan on watching that movie tomorrow, just because of the fact that this film blew me away so much. And like I said, the acting and stuff isn't really that great. If you're not someone that's into subtitles, I recommend you watch The Raid Redemption anyways, because there's really not that much dialogue going on here. There is a story that deals with kind of two brothers and them being on the opposite sides, kind of like, what is that other film that did that? City of God. But that film was incredible. This film is pretty great, but not as great as that one. But this film is just a wall-to-wall action film, and I loved every second of it. I did martial arts and did Taekwondo, was lucky enough to get my black belt after like 5 or 6 years of doing it, so I still have that part of me that really loves and enjoys martial arts. I don't do it anymore, but after watching this film, I wanted to get back into martial arts because watching the amount of dedication that these guys have and the amount of skill that these stunt people have and the choreography that they put together. I don't know who choreographed this film, but watching somebody go through all those moves is just incredible. I can't say enough how great and fantastic it was to see that. Another incredible thing I thought about this film is actually There's normal times sometimes where violence is overused, like the Saw films or something like that, where they're just having violence to have violence, right? Blood, gore, things like that. And this film did that, but it did it in such an incredible way. Instead of using, the type of Tarantino type stuff, like heads exploding or something like that, all the violence and stuff was really realistic. And another great thing about this film is the soundtrack. The soundtrack actually made you feel every single punch, every single kick, every single thing that was happening in this film. It made you feel it, and you won't be too attached to any of the characters. At least I wasn't, other than the main character I was kind of attached to. But it's really just interesting watching an incredible martial arts film. And I had this film on my radar for so long, so actually sitting down and finally watching it was a treat for me, because I knew going into it that I was really going to enjoy it, just because I had heard such incredible things about it as a martial arts film. So with that said, you guys, thank you so much for watching my Raid Redemption review. I recommend you watch this film if you're into those types of films, like action-y films and stuff. It does have a lot of violence in it, and it is graphic violence, like people being stabbed or being shot in the head and stuff like that. So if you're kind of one of those people that doesn't really enjoy that type of violence, then you might not like this film. But if you are, or if you are a person that can tolerate it, I recommend you watch The Raid Redemption, because you will be blown away like I was. So thank you guys so much. See you tomorrow. Have another review for you tomorrow.